What is up, my BBossBaddies and my Batman fellas? It is your girl Bosana, and welcome BBossArmy. So as you guys can tell by the title, today we are going to be talking about when she wants the D the most. And so this is honestly, in other words, when that girl is going to be most times horny and wanting that D. So all in all though, you guys, I want to do a separate video where it's not like 99%, where it's such a high percentage, maybe a high percent but not so high, a little bit less. And I want to do that version so I can tell you guys more common things, because it's not always like, you know, girls always doing the exact same thing. But when I do that version, you guys, what I will do is literally tell you things such as like the whole phase, right? Not every girl always wants the D, you know, almost 100%, not always, but definitely there's a lot of girls out there that go through a whole phase, and I honestly could almost put it in this category, but to be safe, I'll do a separate video. All right, y'all, so that's really all I wanted to get out, so you guys have a good understanding before we get into this video. But y'all, please just give this video a big thumbs up. That's all. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to the next thing. And number one thing is when it's just you and her and you're playing hard to get. Now here's the thing, you guys playing hard to get is not even hard to get. And a lot of you guys might be shocked about that, because it's kind of like, hey, well, girls are not even dealing with us, or why is it so hard for us to get a girl? And you guys are doing what you need to do. So it's like, okay, when we're trying, it's not working. But you see how I just said that? When you're trying, it's not working. So what happens, and this is where the next part of, hey, this is where you have to be alpha, or you have to be not the type of guy that's gonna be going crazy over a girl because, you know, you've been with her for some hours and it's just been you. So the way it's supposed to play out for a girl to like basically be in that mood and she starts getting horny, and I kind of tell you guys in a story time way to switch it up. So it will go something like this. You guys will link up, right? You guys will probably link up late at night. Regardless if it's earlier, that could still have an effect, just because the later the night goes, you know, the more horny people get. And I don't know all the history and the theories, but hey, it's late at night, right? You're to yourself, you're alone most times and things like that, right? Just facts and common sense. So you guys are chilling. You probably just invited over, or she invited you over. Y'all are together. You hit her with that. Let's do it like a story time for real. You say, come over. And she said one. You said nah. Okay, she's on her way. She comes through, whether it's Uber, she paid for it, whatever, cab. She gets there. You guys are chilling. You as a man, when she gets there, you're supposed to be about yourself. When we say, and I say we because you guys be saying it to other people in the comments, right? We help out all each other. So when we go ahead and say you have to be focused, it's not just when you're on your purpose, right? There's times where you're off, when you're relaxing. Those are the times where you're still on your purpose and you're still focused on you. So now you have a girl come over. Y'all are having a good time, good night, good vibes. She's gonna be there for like 2-3 hours. Mostly that's what happens, right? Unless like it goes bad and she leaves right away. So now she comes over, and then what happens after she comes over? You're minding your business. If it's games that you like to play, it's games that you like to play. If it's studying, it's studying. If it's what else do you guys know? You guys can comment it, whatever. There's a whole lot of lists I know of things that you guys like to do. And I personally know because I've hung out, especially with a certain guy that like to do different things at home. And then obviously some guys like to do the same thing over and over. So all in all, you're supposed to just be focused on you. Don't ever get caught up. Don't get too caught up in the lust and just like, hey, I want her. So now she comes over, and this is where it all plays a part of. Hours go by. She's thinking, she's like, hey, well, he's so busy, he's on the game, or he's just been on his phone this whole time, or hey, he hasn't really been all over me. So when you're already an alpha, or you're on your purpose, doing all those things, those are already good qualities. They put you in the check, and most times you're probably in the check when she comes to see you, especially late at night. So those hours that pass by, it just gets her thinking like, hey, well, what about him? Why is he not coming on to me? Or I went to a guy's house the other day and he came on to me quick. So it's almost like in that process, she's testing you. And how you pass the test the whole entire time is really just minding your own business and giving yourself the energy that she wants you to give to her, right? So now you've done that. You've been minding your business, and it's not because you were trying. It's because that's you being on your purpose. That's you being about yourself. And that's why I said different examples. For somebody that's on their purpose, maybe it's like you have to study a certain thing so you can basically invest more information into it and basically branch off and do things like that. You get what I'm saying? Maybe it's that. That's your purpose. That's your next step. Or it could be you're a gamer. You're a super gamer. That's what you're focused on. That's your hobby. That's your thing. All in all, though, she's like, hey, I'm supposed to still be the main focus. The attention is not on me. And it's really that more important for you to be on the game, to be studying. And that's where you guys have the effects without even trying to get a girl to, feel a way or like you or anything. It gets her already turned on. And that's the part of not trying. Those alpha guys, those guys that have their things together, they're already in the mindset of 24/7, I'm busy. So when girls get around those types of guys, and I'm happy I brought this topic up because the next topic is actually going to be about alpha guys. But when girls get around these guys, they get excited because, hey, you're this guy, you're on your purpose and stuff like that. So now that you're on your purpose, she's still going to think somewhat highly of you because, hey, you're somewhat of a high value man, or you are completely that. But now it gets to a point where it's like, if you decrease it for yourself, you do. So you can't react when you're around her. She's expecting you to. She's really planning. Oh, she knows how it goes, or watch him do this, or all this stuff. And most times girls run back to their girls and tell them everything. So to wrap up, what's just going to happen is she's thinking, she's wondering, and this tense builds up because it's like, hey, why is he over there? It turns her on in a sense of like, this guy's that type of guy, that alpha guy. You see how it kind of works? So y'all don't got to do too much. Don't try to even force it on her. But last thing completely is don't basically be so rude though, or don't be so coming off like, hey, well, don't come near me. You have to still be open, but don't be obsessed with her. Just be focused on you still and give her some sort of like attention, but it's not attention like, hey, I'm looking at you. It's more, oh, are you enjoying yourself? Are you having, a fine time? Or I hope your night is good. Or you can just ask her, how was your day while you're doing your thing, while you're doing your thing, or while you're just chilling. How was your day? It's simple. Next thing, and it's a simple things that turn on girls and get them in the mood. Okay, next thing is club night after hitting it off with you. Now, this is most times only gonna work out really well if she was hitting it off with you. And I only say this because since I've said such a high percentage, right? Almost all women, most of the time, they get turned on when you have liquor in your system, when you're turning up. But that is kind of like a girl just thinking, like, not thinking. You get what I'm saying? She's saying that she's thinking, hey, I'm all there, but she's drunk, intoxicated. She's having a good time listening to music, vibing, probably bumping and grinding, right? So she's not thinking so clear, but she's saying she is. So now when I say it goes to this club night, yes, you're going to have so many girls that are in that state of, oh, I want D. And that's the other thing too. It's not that she's going to give you the pussy or she's going to give it up, but she does want D. That's it. So most times it's like that, but now we have the hitting it off, and that's where the percentage just skyrockets. So when you guys are in the club and the bars and stuff, what you guys just want to do is have a good chill time. Enjoy the vibe. Don't cling on to that woman because, hey, that woman will cling on to you. She wants you. And I've done it a good 3 times, honestly, you guys, where there's a guy in the club where I was feeling good vibe, we had a good dance, and most times, because I came from a small city, and this is just talking back so I can help you guys with examples, but this is back when I don't go clubbing at all anymore, but when I used to go clubbing, there would, not always, but when there was that guy that I was really feeling in the club, it happens sometimes. You guys have a good vibe. Maybe you guys share some words and it's like, oh, you're my type. So it's just like for a woman, we go based on emotion. So we go back to that guy. We want more of you. The second we see you, just because we met you that night, and this is not always like this, there's always more to say, but the second we meet you that night, and you're still gonna go dance with another girl after we had, a few good 3 dances, I'm gonna be like, what? Yeah, it goes like that, right? So now we kicked it off. We have a good vibe. I want to see you more. But this is the part where girls, they will go ahead and act like, oh, I'm not so easy and all this stuff. And it's not necessarily acting, but it's like they choose when they want to be, right? And it's not as hard if you know what you're doing, if that makes sense. So I'm just trying to say that it's not that a girl will go back with you to your house, because it doesn't always happen like that. You don't get a high percentage of girls that always go back. But what you do get is girl that will exchange your numbers, which is normal. And it's really because in that moment, hey, I was really feeling you. I was really turned on. Matter of fact, you guys are in the club. dancing. Obviously, her D is rubbing on her booty. Of course, she's feeling that brick. So I'll continue with that in a different video. I do want to move on. Hope you guys got the point though, and y'all let me know if you want a part 2. And last thing on my list is when you can shut her up with money and gifts. Now y'all, this is not that hard to get, because girls, they get turned on just easily thinking like, hey, this guy has money and gifts. It's good enough for women nowadays for a guy to have money and gifts. And that's exactly why a guy that's not so good looking, a guy that, you know, has a bad history or, you know, cheats and does all these wild things, he can still get any girl he wants, because money and gifts shut females up. It works every time. So that's all it is to that. Money and gifts shuts females up. Next thing that and the good enough, if you guys didn't get that part, it's really just, it's good enough for a lot of girls to say, hey, you know what, I have this available, you're turning me on, you got this going on. And it's good enough later on for when I get mad at you and say, hey, I don't want you anymore. But the last thing that I did want to say, which I kind of already said, but to separate it real quick, is easy how women can be. Women can be so easy a lot of times because they kind of just go based on their emotions, right? When a girl really feels a guy, and this is all now based on the girl. If she's more of like easygoing, laid back, that's an easier chance. If she's more of like aggressive, coming on hard, that's a harder chance, right? There's different types of females out there. You always have to remember that. But for the most part, what you have to understand is, because girls are emotional beings, they think off their feelings a lot. So what she's thinking is, hey, well, I'm thinking if I have to think long term, this guy can support me financially. If I think of him short term, if I don't want him in my life for long, doesn't matter. He supported me for the meantime when I was dealing with him financially. So all in all, based on my feelings, based on a woman's feelings sometimes, it's, hey, well, that's good enough, because, well, I come across guys all the time that don't have the looks or don't have other aspects or features or strategies or skills that I want, and I can't get a guy that has it all going all around. But still, girls are still having these high expectations, not even understanding, like, you're not even making that much sense, especially for your own situation, oftentimes as well. So that's that with women. You know, they pick, they choose, and then if it's that guy, it's that guy, and the comfortability comes in that, oh, I have the reassurance and I'm good because this guy has money and I'm not gonna find any better, so I'll stick with this guy. And that's that. Yeah, I know it sounds sad, but girls really have this mindset at this point where F it. That's why also I was mentioning how I want to do that other video, because I want to talk extremely about this whole phase that is still going on. Like, girls say F it in those situations. And it's the same thing with the money thing. You might not have everything else, but hey, money and gifts, shit, my pussy is wide open for you. That's how girls are thinking now. So it's like, hey, I'll make it available for those guys, and that's how women, once again, are choosy. Okay, I hope this video was helpful, and if it was, please give this video a big thumbs up, and y'all will see me in my next one. Bye, you guys.